but I hate cats.
Welcome back to It's Too Bad, the show where we watch the worst movies and look for their silver linings, hunting like a pig hunts for truffles. My name is Jason.
And I'm Ted, and this week's episode is going to be about 9 Lives. It was recently released about a man who turns into a cat, a cliche film about any person turning into an animal and needs to find himself. This is what that is. However, it does miss the mark, which is why it's here. It got a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is probably the worst film of the year so far.
And I'm not going to say that we went into it with bad hopes, but before anybody had seen it, it wasn't reviewed at all. I bought my tickets because I knew we were going to be talking about this film.
And I'm glad we did, honestly. This film, for what we try to do in this video series, is try to find the good in it, and we really did have to dig.
It was a challenge.
But there's a couple things that we noticed right off the bat, and I think you noticed something that I didn't even see.
Yeah, the very first scene, and this won't give away much because it's sort of in the trailer, but Kevin Spacey is he's like a billionaire, kind of like a Richard Branson, right? So he's a skydiver, and the very first scene, he's up in an airplane, about to jump, and visually, it reminded me of sort of a Wes Anderson film, almost a hybrid of his live action and something like Fantastic Mr. Fox. Mm-hmm. It looks fake, it's very flat space, it looks like he's in a toy, but it was interesting. And then he dives, and that shot is kind of wacky, and he gets to the top of this building, and the building looks completely fake. And I'm like, if this is where they're going with it, it might actually hold my attention because it's sort of interesting. Problem is, once they got off that building, it was nothing like that.
It took another turn to another visual style. You did mention Kevin Spacey, the other stars, Christopher Walken, Jennifer Garner. They were all who they were, really. I mean, if you know Jennifer Garner, it's probably what she is. She didn't have to stretch too much for the role. Christopher Walken also doesn't stretch too much for the role.
Does he ever?
No. And personally, what I thought was good in this film was Kevin Spacey before he turns into the cat. He really nailed the character. He's this businessman, a billionaire who wants the tallest building in North America, when Chicago's building another tower just like it or something different, but it's gonna be 60 feet higher. And so he's really pissed off about this. And he really plays it well. He doesn't care what anyone says. It's his ego that's going, and I really enjoyed it. And then he walks into the shop of Christopher Walken because he has to get a present for his daughter who's turning 11, and she wants a cat. And so he hates cats, but because he's a terrible father, he's going to buy the love of his daughter through a cat. So he finds this shop, and it's all about cats, and he buys a cat.
Right.
He goes to the top of his building for a meeting with his second in command.
Yeah.
Why they're at the top of the building in a lightning storm, I don't know. But the only way to get him into the cat's body is to have him fall off the building.
And you know what? It's dark. I can't fault him for that because truthfully, I wanted something that wasn't so sugar-coated.
Right.
I was there with my 5-year-old. She's kind of weird anyway. She's a little dark too, so she didn't notice anything wrong with it. But I can imagine other people's kids are kind of like, whoa, this guy's going to die like immediately.
Yeah,
So.
it's not.
But
not
I needed
something
that, so I thought that was good.
Well, it was actually intrigue for
Right.
once. So instead of falling completely down the tallest building in North America, he somehow bends a beam and falls into a window and goes into a coma. And then instead of being in a coma, he's actually in the cat. Basically, it's a life lesson. Now, I think my favorite scene of the cat part was when he gets home. He's still Kevin Spacey, so he's thinking like Kevin Spacey. He runs into his study, and then he needs a drink. And the cat gets like scotch out of a decanter, pours it into a little bowl, and drinks it. I found that like extremely amusing, not only for his character, because tough day, right? You fell off a building, but for the cat as well, because he couldn't handle that much liquor because it's a cat.
Right.
And so he's trying to figure out his way through that. And I thought that was a great choice.
Another moment where they kind of went a little adult for a kid's movie. I mean, I don't like having to explain intoxication to my 5-year-old.
I wouldn't.
She didn't say anything, so I actually was
So
okay with it.
I thought about that too, looking at, because there were a lot of kids here, and they were laughing at the cat. I did not laugh at the cat. I thought the casting director did a great job with the daughter. She looked exactly like Jennifer Garner's daughter should look like.
Crazy good. And the fact that we both are like, we need to look up to see if this is Jennifer Garner's daughter, that tells you something. So that's good casting. She wasn't a bad actress. She kind of, at some points, felt like she was phoning it in, but for the most part, you know, what can you expect from a kid that you haven't seen 30 times in movies that's a veteran at the age of 9 or 10.
Absolutely.
So.
And I think she had a strong personality considering her father wasn't there.
Right.
I think that was an interesting character choice on her part to be a strong daughter for her mom. It snowballs, I would think, in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we have an hour 17, let's say, of a film that is trying to get to an end, and then the last 10 minutes, it's quick.
Yeah.
This thing ends quickly.
Yeah, it does.
They don't really explain a lot, and you know, obviously everything works out, but because it's a kids movie, but very strange ending.
Quite the twist.
Right.
We won't give it up, but not what I was expecting.
Not at all.
It took a turn, and that to me was a good thing because how many times have you watched The Shaggy Dog or any body swap movie, even not of animals, of people to people?
Right.
They're all the same. They learn their lesson. They get, you know that there's nothing really at stake. This one kind of upped the stakes a little bit.
When it comes down to this movie, we shouldn't really care too much about Kevin Spacey's character since he is a billionaire. We're just seeing if he gets out of the cat.
Yeah.
That's it.
Really
and
what it
obviously he will, or the movie would have taken a very dark turn.
I feel like the people behind the scenes all kind of knew what this was.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of winking to us sometimes. There's an editing moment. The cat is trying to fix something that's gone terribly wrong, but he's a cat, so he can't because he doesn't have fingers. And you know,
Which is well played out in the film.
so he's trying to do this in an office and not get caught. He ends up hanging from his hands in the exact pose as that hang in there poster. The perfect cut to outside of that office with that hang in there poster.
Right.
And I really feel like it was somebody's nod to us. Just guys, hang in there. There's gonna be like 25 more minutes.
Just hang with us, which is really kind of funny. I think the director framed it well.
Yeah.
I don't know if he meant it to be like that, but
Yeah,
we really needed
felt like
something, a visual like that, because the film in the middle does drag. To me, it just does. I think this will be on TV.
Yeah.
I think broken up with some TV commercials in there, this film might be bearable.
Sure.
On a sit through for an hour and 27 minutes was very tough.
My daughter couldn't sit through it. And you know she's the key demographic for this. So if she's standing up on the chairs just more concerned with how the projection works, you know it's not hitting its mark.
Right.
We gotta kind of tell them where it fits on the It's Too Bad scale.
Right.
In my opinion, is definitely not rewatchable for myself.
Right.
And even for my kid, I don't know if she's ever gonna wanna watch it again. We went during the first week, plenty of people in both theaters. They were all getting restless, so I don't know that it's even rewatchable for the people that wanted to see it opening week.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put it between there and there, probably about there.
Okay, and for me personally, if you like cats, this isn't the movie for you. They have at the beginning some openings, cat videos, which is probably the best part of the cat.
Agreed.
And then they move into the movie. And so, like you said, it's not rewatchable.
Right.
If you do catch it on TV, that's probably the best way to do it. I wouldn't even spend Redbox money on this.
No.
I would say for the scale, I'm gonna go down that far because it's just not rewatchable. But if you ever
Pretty
catch
close.
it, maybe the end, 25 minutes, check out the dark twist, and that is worth the price of admission.
I guess so.
I think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out our website, and we will have a podcast on 9 Lives coming up next week. We hope to see you there.